So let's actually get kicking into learning this tab. It's a little bit of a challenge. So first off, you've kind of got this kind of picking pattern, which is it's nice. It's and it's nice and easy because it's in like little triplets, and then it's not so mind-boggling because it's in a 4x4 kind of pattern where you add the second note in. So the first bar, second bar, that was the last two there. So what you're doing is kind of declining down the D sharp major scale and then kind of climbing back up. And what you've got to be practicing on your right hand is this. And once you kind of get this, it's really nice to learn it up across the strings. I would avoid using a plectrum here, like, because what we're trying to develop is kind of some finger dexterity. And I think using a plectrum is such a kind of shortcut, especially for acoustic guitar. This is where you want to be really stepping away from. And I'm going to say this really early on, like, it's like you have 5 plectrums on your hand. So why would you limit yourself to 1? You can go, yeah, cool, but that sounds kind of shit when you don't have distortion. So that's my little rant about people that use plectrums. Let's get back into it. So first bar. Third bar. Your finger picking pattern changes on the last 4 notes of the third bar, which is on the second line. So we've got it kind of starting from the beginning of the third bar. And what this allows for is that kind of quick declining change. And what I like to do is just transition my fingers. The second half is very similar. You kind of then up on the 12th. And you've kind of got this quick slide that. And then again, you're kind of crawling up the fret again. So, from beginning. And that kind of picking that pattern all the way through is an exercise in itself. You have to kind of develop this jing, 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 jing. And it does become hard. Even I'm struggling to play this kind of song because I'm out of practice playing it this way. But this is the reason why it's such a step up from the other one, even though it's a simpler tuning. Because you've kind of got this. Now, I find playing a constant picking pattern for ages is very difficult, especially when you've kind of got this little bit of odd rhythm on the right hand. Wow, wow, wow. So keep cracking at it. It's a good picking rhythm to actually learn, and it's quite a hard one because your picking pattern here, you're only using the first 3 bass strings, so your fingers are very close together rather than being a bit further apart where they normally are. So what I would be doing now, as little extra exercises for the piece, I would be using I'd start doubling up on a tremolo pattern. Now this is one of my favorite patterns to use, and it's using it double time. I really said, and that is literally just picking. When I remember first trying to be able to conquer this, and I would literally walk down the street and go thumb, finger, second finger, just to get that picking pattern, because you're going to be using this quite a lot. Or I use it quite a lot, and that's what I do. That's a little sneaky tip. It's not even a sneaky tip. It's being a child having to walk home like half an hour by yourself, and you're just like, no. Sometimes I used to have a girlfriend and walk to see her. It's cool when I was doing it then. So yeah, and then if you're gonna get into your tremolo picking patterns like flamenco, I can't do that anymore, but I could. And literally, you'd be just walking down the street going, sticking that third one in. So that's a nice little thing to be kind of tackling whilst you're walking. Nice little tip. In this tuning, there's a couple of cool songs you can learn. Renegades of Funk by Rage Against the Machine. That's a pretty nice one in drop D. I'm trying to think of other good songs. The next song we're going to learn is also in drop D, which is Foo Fighters. And that's going to be a much more... We're going to start moving these sideways and kind of extending the learning. And then we also... What I would do as a little exercise would be start playing around with drop D. And some shapes you can use is the power chord on the 5th. It sounds quite cool. So I'll have a little play. What it is good for is you can kind of reach, because you're in this bar chord, you can kind of reach your sus 9 or your add 9s. A major third, and it can sound really happy. Or you can change it up and add in like a minor third. Then slice it up. I come up with these nice little patterns. And so that's quite a good exercise to learn. I would kind of go away and have a play with that, like trying to use your sus2 and add 9s, minor thirds in this tuning, because that's what it's very useful for, is getting those shapes that are usually a real motherfucking stretch. And again, be practicing that picking pattern. So anyway, that's the end of the second lesson. That's show me your progression. DM me on Instagram. Show me what you're coming up with. I fucking love watching you guys learn. That is Tom Allen, out.